Dutch News, 20 June 2024. Pesticides play role in Parkinson's explosion, says Dutch expert. Cases of people with Parkinson's disease are exploding worldwide, with a 30% increase in the Netherlands over the past 10 years. A new study based on data contributed to by hundreds of doctors have shown. The research, published in the Lancet Medical magazine, shows 11.8 million people now have Parkinson's compared to 6.2 million only 5 years before. The number of Parkinson's sufferers has doubled over the last 25 years, and it is expected to have doubled again by 2040. In the Netherlands, the number of the patients have risen by 30% in the last 10 years, and incidences may be accelerating, Redboat teaching hospital neurologist Bess Bloom told broadcaster News. In the last 4 years, the number of diagnoses at 5 of the hospitals we are working with have risen by 25%, he told the broadcaster. Bloom said the new report, which says may underestimate the number of sufferers, is poignant. Parkinson's is one of the most cruel things that can happen to people. It affects motor function. You can think clearly, sex, peeing, and pooing, and sleeping become more difficult, he said. In another recent study, Bloom, together with an American colleague, explored the link between Parkinson and pollution, particularly from the large-scale use of pesticides in agriculture. European research led by Wageningen University showed that 42% of Dutch farmland has excessive levels of nitrogens and phosphates, in addition to widespread contamination with pesticide compounds. Research is also ongoing into a higher incidence of Parkinson's in the bulb-growing areas in the Netherlands. I'm convinced Parkinson's is a man-made disease, Bloom said. The introduction of extremely neurotoxic pesticides such as the no-ban paraquat in the 1970s probably marked the start of what is now an explosion of cases, he said. It can take decades for Parkinson's to manifest itself, but in the Netherlands, cases of people in their 20s or 30s are becoming more common. Bloom is particularly worried about the use of glyphosate, which has been approved for use in Europe until 2033. Some 10 studies suggest a possible link to Parkinson's, but we are not sure if it is a cause. The biggest problem with it is that we don't know whether it's safe because the European Food Safety Authority didn't take Parkinson's into account properly, Bloom said. The Guardian. Fossil fuels use reaches global record despite clean energy growth. Report finds developing countries are increasing reliance on coal, gas, and oil as overall demand for energy rises. The world consumption of fossil fuels climbed to a record high last year, driving emissions to more than 40 gigatons of CO2 for the first time, according to a global energy report. Despite a record rise in the use of renewable energy in 2023, consumption of fossil fuels continued to increase too, an annual review of world energy by the Energy Institute found. Juliet Davenport, the president of the Energy Institute, said the report had revealed another year of highs in our energy-hungry world, including a record high consumption of fossil fuels, which rose by 1.5% to 505 exajoules. The findings threaten to dash hopes held by climate scientists that 2023 will be recorded as the year in which annual emission peak before the global fossil fuels economy begins a terminal decline. The Energy Institute, the global professional body for the energy sector, found that while energy industry emission may have reached a peak in advanced economies, developing economies are continuing to increase their reliance on coal, gas, and oil. Overall, fossil fuels made up 81.5% of the world's primary energy last year, down only marginally from 82% the year before, according to the report, even as wind and solar farms generated record amounts of clean electricity. The report, authored by consultants at KPMG and Kearney, found that wind and solar power climbed by 13% last year to reach a new record of 4,748 terawatt hours in 2023. But that wasn't enough to match the world's growing consumption of primary energy, which rose 2% last year to a record high of 620 exajoules and led to more fossil fuel use. The review found that the world's appetite for gas remained steady in 2024, while consumption of coal climbed by 1.6% and oil demand rose by 2% to reach 100 million barrels a day for the first time. Simon Verley, the UK head of energy and natural resources at KPMG, said, "In a year where we have seen the contribution of renewables reaching a new record high, even increasing global energy demand means the share coming from fossil fuels has remained virtually unchanged at just over 80% for yet another year." Nick Wade, the Energy Institute chief executive, added that the slow progress of the energy transition masks diverse energy stories playing out across different geographies. In advanced economies, we observe signs of demand for fossil fuels peaking, contrasting with economies in the global south for whom economic development and improvements in quality of life continue to drive fossil growth, said Wade. The report found that in India, fossil fuel consumption climbed by 8% last year, matching the increase in overall energy demand to make up 89% of all energy use. This meant that for the first time, more coal was used in India than Europe and North America combined, it said. In Europe, fossil fuels fell to below 70% of primary energy use for the first time since the Industrial Revolution, driven by falling demand and the growth of renewable energy. Europe's demand for gas in particular has continued to tumble since Russia's full-scale invasion to Ukraine in 2022, which caused pipeline gas import into Europe to collapse. Overall, gas demand fell by 7% in 2023 according to the report, after a fall of 13% of the previous year.